Time is a precious commodity. People use it for all sorts of things. Some use it for work and other responsibilities. Me? I'm going to use time to talk to some really awesome people. I'm Sergio Barrera, and this is A Few Minutes With. Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of A Few Minutes With. I am Sergio Barrera, and joining me as always is the amazing Suzer Bruiser, Susan Chisholm.
Hello. That's
welcome.
Me. Thank you. How are you? It's been a whole minute since I got to see you on this screen with podcastness.
It's been a bit, absolutely.
It has.
It has definitely been a bit, but it's been a busy time. And want to say a big welcome to our friend Drew, who counted down in the chat.
I know.
Yeah, so
like,
Happy New Year, he
says. Yeah. Us too. We're excited. I'm excited.
Absolutely, it's a lot to be excited about because we made some decisions about the show in terms of how we're going to approach it. And so everybody, welcome to season 2.
Season 2.
Apparently the first season had 47 episodes or whatever it is. I don't think it's that many.
So, there was a preseason and I think also a pre-season.
Yeah, it was sort of an all-inclusive thing. I think to share with those who are here tonight, and thank you so much for joining us. It kind of needed a break. There was I'm not gonna lie, part of it was mostly my fault. That I was like, I need to sort of like take a pause and kind of think through things. And we spoke, you and I, about, hey, why don't we do this like in chunks? And so approach it from a season's standpoint. So we'll have so many episodes and then we'll take a bit of a break, recharge, and then get ready for the next season. So here we are, season 2.
Basically, there's only so much of me he can stand. So what we're doing is taking a break periodically from talking.
And I couldn't have put it better myself. So we're calling tonight's episode the launch of season 2, which I guess I could have done a banner for that, but here we are. If you haven't joined us and you're watching this late, then you're not going to know what this is about. And so, so this is episode 1 of season 2, and we will actually be doing 12 episodes. And the 12th and final episode of this second season will put us in the week prior to Christmas. And so holiday season. And so for those who celebrate, or even those who don't, just giving you a sense of when it's going to happen. And so we're going to get a chance to do some holiday related stuff. It's going to get scary. So
it's going to get awesome. And actually, speaking of getting scary, I noticed that Halloween falls on a Tuesday.
It does. And so we may have to reschedule that because that's our anniversary. So
there is something special going on that day that isn't just getting dressed up.
It's hasn't been that for 31 years. So So my anniversary is on Halloween, and
I mean, she could be on the show.
Halloween falls on my anniversary. So but yeah,
Jen could be on the show. Be all right.
And she probably would willingly be, but I think if she had that as an option compared to dinner out with me, she's probably gonna go dinner. So I hope I'm not wrong. So
I'll message her in a minute.
Although it is 9:00 and we're like early people, so we'll probably be done with dinner long before 9 p.m. So I'll tell you what, I'll talk to her.
Still in the planning phase. This is what we're trying to say, folks.
Indeed. So I'll definitely bring that up, and we'll see. Point is, 12 episodes, then we'll take a bit of a break, and then we'll plan season 3. So and we're still going to talk about whatever the hell we want because we don't really always know.
Nope. So. No, I was thinking about it earlier today, like different things to bring up, and I was like, there was, you know how people say like really weird stuff.
Yeah. You every
And
time, every day.
every time, always, I mean, constantly. But if you were to hear it out of context, it would be like, hmm, yeah. So I was just gonna say, like, is there anything like that that's happened to you like recently? I had something that happened to me today, is why I'm asking.
Where somebody said something that you caught out of context?
Yes, I was walking by and I was like,
Oh, I'm sure it has. You're asking me to think of it on the spot.
part of the day. I missed the first part of that sentence, and I'm just gonna leave it alone because it was more interesting after the sentence. Like
What,
what I
oh,
caught.
based on what you heard, what you caught? Yeah. Um, yeah, I can't think of, I'm sure I have. I know I have. I'm
Yeah.
trying to recall. Although not that it may fit, but you know me, I wedge stuff into everybody's topics. I have to tell you that I almost came on the air as Sergio the Sex Potato because I didn't proofread. And so
That's, I
I was
mean,
like,
that's,
oh, I better
that,
fix that.
uh, I mean, you could fix it on the fly, but yeah, that would have been weird.
But had we launched, would I have wanted to? That is really what becomes the question. So
Uh, hmm,
I
true
probably wanted to.
story. True,
Yeah.
you would have. You probably would have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm okay being the sexy potato, but I don't know if I want to be known as the sex potato. So uh, at least not
Yeah.
by everyone. So.
I'm gonna cover my ears. I'm too young for that.
Oh, please. I'm just gonna say
Wow.
it. Oh, please. So,
Drew, I got
oh
you.
man,
I got you.
yeah, it almost happened. It almost happened. Speaking of our friend Drew,
Yes.
I want to share something
Tell me.
that is really, really important for those of you who are in the San Antonio area, and for those of you who may be watching this not when we're live, because we understand it's late and it's Tuesday. It's a school night. Our friend Drew is part of a very he basically launched a very important project called Callsign Muffin. And right before I went on air, I was happy he reached out to me because we get a chance to sort of start sharing some stuff that's really, really important. And so coming up on October 23rd here in the San Antonio area, Callsign Muffin is having one of its first benefits. And it's going to happen at a place that, Susan, the next time you're in town, you've got to remind me to take you. Or
I
maybe
was
we
gonna
just go on the
say
23rd.
I was gonna say I recognize that name that you were talking about, like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, I need to take you there sometime. So there you go.
So I know you remember the cross-country excursion that I did a couple of years ago
Yes.
for food-related adventures. Check out the short videos on my YouTube channel of Taste of the Food Life. I learned on that trip that there was such a thing as Detroit-style pizza. I had no idea that there was such a thing. I've heard of,
Hmm.
I've heard of, New York style. I've heard Chicago, but never Detroit. And when I tell you that that was one of the greatest pizza experiences of my life ever, I was very excited to discover that a place by the name of Via 313 here in San Antonio they specialize in Detroit style pizza.
Nice.
So first and foremost, let me say that all you had to do was tell me where this event was going to be, and I'm going to be there. But more importantly, it's going to be an opportunity to benefit Callsign Muffin, which is an organization that our friend Drew put together that is focused on building computers and providing support for veterans. And it didn't take him but a few seconds of he began asking me if I wanted to be part of the overall project in the long term. And it was like before he could finish the sentence, I was like, yeah, count me in. And
Yeah.
so I'm hoping that very soon we can actually get Drew to join us here on the show so we can talk about Callsign Muffin and such. But if you go to callsignmuffin.org and go to the
Hmm.
About section, you can actually hear the story or read the story, I should say, of what this organization is about and what it's for. And also, not going to spoil it because you got to go read it to find out what the genesis behind the name Callsign Muffin is. It's a fantastic story. So I encourage everybody that's watching, whether it's live tonight or later, callsignmuffin.org. Make sure you go check it out and click on the About channel so you can link so that you can learn about the organization and also the story behind the name, because I actually didn't know that until tonight, and I was like, this is brilliant. So the 23rd, there's going to be a benefit event from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. at Via 313, and Via 313 will be contributing 10% of the proceeds from that night to Callsign Muffin. So I'm excited about that.
So it's a Monday.
Well, then I guess you're going to have to call in. So,
but I get off. I was going to say I get off work at like 5. So
pedal to the metal.
Safely.
Yeah, no kidding. Bad driver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No curb is safe.
No curb is safe, indeed. Although never mind.
Don't you start.
So yeah, so if you happen to make it down, let's go. If not, I will be happy to represent the show there that evening. So I'm excited.
Excellent.
And I know Drew's with us. So Drew, props and kudos to you. Best wishes on the event and on the organization. And you can count on us to be supporters. So awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Indeed. We're going to continue to share that across our social media. And as it approaches, I'll be sure to hound you about what time you will be in town. So no pressure.
I believe it. Yeah.
So back to your original question, and forgive me for jumping away from it, but I think that was okay. So are you going to share with us what you heard, like the out of context statement?
Yeah, I will definitely. So I was walking by one of the surgery suites, and obviously, as you know, there are a few things you don't want to hear in surgery. Oops,
I imagine
is one of them.
Oops. Oh my.
Oh no is another one. But I was walking by and I was listening to a doctor performing a surgery, and we were talking, and he actually was talking. We were talking about it because the anesthesiologist said, or CRNA said, "Oh no," and he's like, "Oh no" is one of the things you don't say during surgery.
Mm-hmm.
And she explained, "Oh no, one of the stickers came off of, so the monitoring stickers." And he was like, "Okay, well, let's not do that again." And right when I walked in, he's like putting the camera, and he goes, "Oh shit, that's not where that's supposed to be."
Oh.
And I paused and I was like, I missed the entire first part of that conversation, but I don't know if I really want to know.
So you had no idea
mystery.
What that was?
Oh, I did. I discovered later on, but
but in the moment.
In the moment, I was standing there kind of frozen, like, what's not where it's supposed to be? And is it bad? Like, do we need to worry about it? Whatever it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it ended up being fine, of course, but yeah.
I imagine the patient was out, because
yeah.
patient, I would want to hear that.
Oh, no. This is many, many minutes after he had gone to sleep.
Okay, good. Well, because so I think by now people know you and I well enough as a team that I have a story for every story you tell.
Oh God.
And it's not to try to outdo Susan. I hope you guys know that. But when you were talking about that, I remember I shared before that I had a bit of a medical scare a few months ago, and still haven't had salt much. So when I tell you that I don't like going to doctors, but then when I do go of my own volition because I think it's the right thing to do, there are certain things I don't want to hear, right? And I was dealing with some issues with my legs, and the doctor walks in, and he's talking to me. He's asking questions, and it's a very great dialogue. He's made me feel very comfortable in a situation that for me is highly stressful. And then he goes, "Okay, do me a favor. Can you kind of hike up your pants leg?" And I started to do that. And this is literally what I'm sitting down. He's above me, and this is what I hear. Because I'm bringing my leg up, or no, I think what I was doing is I was bringing the robe up, because I had to put one of those big gowns on. And how they found my size, I have no idea. And So I'm pulling the gown up and putting my leg out so he can take a good look. So I'm looking at my leg, and from above me, I hear, "Oh," and I was like, "Say no mo." I heard, "Oh." So that you want to talk about my, like, if I'd been on one of those machines that measures your blood pressure, I'm sure it would have like spiked at that point because the anxiety that ran through my body. It just the simple sound of that "oh"
Oh.
was like, yeah. I'm like, am I gonna lose the leg? What's going on? So,
He's like, I got my rusty saw in the background, in the back room. I mean, yeah.
So yeah, and it wasn't an issue of like bad bedside manner. He was great. Like I completely give him credit and the team for what they did to help me get that shit settled. But yeah, it was that weird moment. I, like, this always happens to me because when, again, there are doctor visits I should make more often. But then when I finally do, and something like that happens, number one, it's stressful, but you and I both know how to find the humor in moments like that. And it's like, it
Yes.
cracks me up in hindsight because I'm like, what better moment for someone like me, to be like, oh, I mean, you're already here, so let's fuck with you for just a bit. So
Yeah.
it was pretty hilarious.
Yeah, that case, I when I walked into that and I finally heard the explanation, I was like, oh, yeah, okay, that makes sense. But then the entire rest of the procedure, I was like ribbing the doctor a little bit,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, is this one of these oh shit moments, or
Yeah.
it can it wait a minute? He didn't.
You've been in this job now for a few months, and
I have.
have you yourself ever, if you're comfortable answering the question, have you ever accidentally said something or done something like that where you're like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have said it that way?
I mean, there are silly ones, like nothing scary or dangerous.
Okay, that's good.
So, I mean, definitely nothing dangerous, but nothing like scary. There was kind of a hectic moment during the beginning of one of the cases, and um, I needed to the anesthesia the nurse anesthetist had drawn a tube of blood, and I needed to get it downstairs to the blood bank so that we could test it and everything like that.
Yeah.
And I was looking for a bag. You have to have a clear plastic biohazard bag, and you put the label on the patient's name and information on the outside of it, as well as on the tube.
Yeah.
And I was running by, like, kind of trying to grab everything at the same time. And the anesthesiologist was a younger guy who was very nervous. Like, he was anxious. And I was like, okay, well, I went to go look in the cabinet that they have behind their station. And I said, I'm going to get in your drawers and I'm going to get a bag. And he stopped and he looked up and he turned his head and he looked at me, and I was like, let me rephrase that. I'm going to get in your cabinet and look for a bag.
Oh man.
And he was like, oh, okay. Yeah. So yeah, that's one of the things that's happened before.
Totally innocent remark.
Oh yeah, and it happened like 2 times in that day. 2 or 3 times that day, and I was like, I can't talk. I swear, I'm done.
Yeah,
like, I'm done talking.
But I can appreciate when in a medical situation, when either say a nurse or the person does anesthesia, or a doctor, when they have a sense of humor. That's so critical to me. And again, as someone who hasn't, thank goodness, had to go through a lot of surgeries or really any surgeries, I am married to someone who has had her fair share. And one of my absolute favorite bedside manner moments was when Jen had her what is it? The reconstruction, when she had her breast cancer surgery. I'm forgetting the term.
That's reconstruction.
So it was the removal and the reconstruction. And by the way, it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, so October. We're going to be talking about that over the next few weeks.
Yes,
because we want you to, as much as you can, support those who are survivors and those who are going through it. Anyway, it was the morning of her surgery, and the anesthetician, did I get it right?
Nurse anesthetist.
Okay, the person who, okay, I'm going to go with the original term. The person who does the anesthesia.
CRNA. CRNA. It's easier to say that.
The nurse who does the anesthesia
Okay,
came in,
perfect.
and by this point, Jen has gone through a lot of prep, and she has these wristbands of all kinds of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I'm in a moment where like she's cool as a cucumber, man. Like she, you know her, she handles high pressure really, really well, and I'm
Yes,
over here
she
like
does.
trying not to fall apart. And so the CRNA walks in, grabs her arm, looks at it, and they had her allergies listed on her wrist on a band, right? And it was like nuts and some fruits, pineapple, whatever, and I forget what else. She all she did is she grabbed her arm, she read the list, and she goes, "Oh, you can't have fruitcake." And it was such a tension breaking moment that I was like, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna be all right," because if you can
Yeah.
make me laugh in a moment like that,
And I have to say, like, that's something that I've developed, because obviously there's a procedure you have to follow. There's certain questions you have to ask, and there's certain things you have to tell
yeah,
patients and family members. And I've developed this sort of, I don't know, almost goofy sense of humor. Like I'm trying to be comedic relief. Like
sure,
it's one of those things where I end up being funny because I'm trying really hard to be funny.
yeah,
Um, So a lot of the time, like for example, when I'm telling, I'm talking through what the process is, and I tell, the patient these are all the things we're going to be doing, and I tell the family member, okay, and that's when we're going to call you and have you come back and hang out. I said you're going to get text messages, updates throughout the procedure, um, and they're going to be messages that I have lovingly selected from a drop down menu, and they're always like, what? I was like, they won't let me say what I want to say, so I may as well do what they want.
yeah,
Um, but I kind of like make little jabs here and there. And I like right before we leave, they're always like, okay, I'll see you later. And I'm pulling the patient out the door. I'm like, your wife will see you in a couple of hours. You will see her in about 10 minutes because that's how it feels.
oh, okay, that's pretty good. I like that. And
And
I
didn't make
imagine it's
at all.
probably as much tension relief for them and maybe even you because you're
Oh
dealing
yeah.
with a very high, maybe not high stress, but people are important, right? And you're being
It's
trusted with their care.
I'm talking to people.
Yeah.
It's high stress.
Okay. Yeah. But what I'm saying is, I mean, you're not doing this frazzled. You're
Oh
you're
no.
focusing on, hey, this is my opportunity and this entire experience they're about to go through where I get to be the one to care for them. And so
Yep.
that's got to be highly rewarding.
It is. It really is. And I've had a few moments, and I've told you about one of them, but I remember going through school, I always felt completely and utterly out of place.
Hmm.
During school, there's not a lot of stuff that a student can do, can touch, can help with. So for the first, couple of months of my orientation, it was kind of similar. I was watching and I was like seeing how things were going. And then it became I was watching and doing some things, and then I was doing more things, and then I was doing all the things, and now I'm by myself doing all the things, and there's nobody standing right behind me.
Yeah.
But I always used to, in those first couple of months, I would watch the other circulators walk by and, how they carried themselves and how they handled certain interactions with people. And it's it's such a silly moment. Like obviously in any medical facility, there's buttons on the wall to push to open the doors.
Right.
And I recall after a surgery, I had gone and I had, brought the patient to the recovery room, and I had told the nurse everything that happened during the procedure and gave them all the information and handed off the chart. And I had a binder or a clipboard. And I kind of like, I was walking towards the door and I kind of like absentmindedly pushed the button. And I just kind of like, I walked through it as the door opened, and I was like, perfect timing. And I just kind of was like, that felt completely normal.
Yeah.
That's so weird. And then I think I was like,
Yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely. It's a great thing you're doing. And a
trying.
great thing that Drew can pick up on our humor because he added the Annie anesthesia analog, the guy who puts you to sleep. So thanks
we
for the help, Drew.
I've had a few really great CRNAs who like to joke that they're the best bartender this side of the Seton Hospital.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. They don't call it a cocktail for no reason.
No.
Yeah. And so once again, I know Drew in the chat. Thank you for letting us share your project, and have a great night. Thank you for stopping in. I also
Yes.
want to say hello to our friend Rihanna and Rasta, who are here this evening as well.
Yeah. Hey,
And
guys.
for those of you who have joined us who are not in the chat, that's okay. We appreciate you being here. Thank y'all.
Yes.
So question for you.
Uh-oh.
How many dinosaurs do you think you can name off the top of your head in a pressure-filled moment? Okay, ready?
10 or
I'm going to
15.
name one,
No!
then you're going to name one, and then I'm going to name one until we can't do it no more. Are you ready?
Oh my God, what the hell?
Here we
Okay, yeah,
go.
sure.
I'm going to
Okay.
say one, then you're going to say one, and you can't say the same one. Let's see how
Okay.
far we go. Ready?
Yeah.
All right. Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Stegosaurus.
Brontosaurus.
Diplodocus.
Dang it! You took the one I wanted to say. I wanted to say because I used to say it as Diplodocus.
Diplodocus.
Pteranodon.
Echosaurus.
Oh man, you're going fancy.
That was my favorite. That was my favorite dinosaur growing
Mine
up.
was the Ankylosaurus.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Whoa,
The little short guy with the
big
batter
club
tail.
Yeah. Oh man, that was a total setup just for me to be able to say Diplodocus, but you stole it. So
Sorry.
that's okay.
I'm the worst.
No, you're not. No, you're not. Dinosaurs are cool. So yeah. Oh yeah, that was definitely word chain. Absolutely, Rusta. We're gonna. I'll be throwing that at you every now and then. So.
No pressure.
Oh my goodness. As I was thinking about tonight and what we were going to be doing, I recently started to revisit several shows and things, and you know what I'm discovering. I don't know how you are, but like I'll sit there and go, I need to begin this show, like something that I've never seen, or I've seen. I need to see this movie, and then I'm sitting there, and an hour later, I'm like, why am I watching Harry Potter again? Like, what, or why am I watching an Avengers movie again? Like, how is it with you? Like, are you able to pick something, whether it's a book, a show, a game, something that you like, I got to try something new, but then you find yourself like back to what's comfortable?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think that's a thing. I think that's just that's just human nature because it's familiar, it's comfortable.
Yeah.
I can say that I've reread more than a few books. I've definitely replayed a few games, especially ones that
What
are
game
like.
gets in your way more often? Like when you want to play something new, what game do you find like, oh shoot, here I go again?
It hasn't happened recently with any of the newer games, but a lot of the Zelda games. Ocarina of Time is usually my number one distraction maker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting how our brains work, because every time I want to go to something new, and now it's beginning to happen with my limited scope of video games, I'm like, I could just go play more Jedi. And so, even though, yeah. But speaking of New World, new release day.
Yes, it's got a whole bunch of updates, cool stuff, and
it's going to cost money. So
it's going to cost money. I know. Well, yeah. The update being today, it was an 86 gigabyte update.
Yeah.
And when I think the number that you sent when you were trying to log in was like
2,991. That was my number in queue. My previous high was 75.
Yeah.
So I was the 2,991st person in queue, and that's like not even having downloaded the expansion, like having gotten the expansion.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think Colin is right to say we should wait until we know it's stable. So
yeah.
But I'm excited.
Gonna be a little bit.
Yeah, there's a cinematic when you log into the game that's really, really cool. Don't
spoil it because I haven't logged in yet.
Yeah. Oh, it's about 5 to 7 minutes. It's you got, after this, go watch it. It's really good.
All right.
It's really good. So it's after that point that you'll be in the thousands of persons queue. So you're able to watch the cinematic. Speaking of rewatching stuff, I
Yes.
recently started back with the Star Wars films. Um, I had originally had this grand plan to start with episode 1, 2, 3. I'm sorry, 1, 2, Clone Wars 3, and so forth and so on, right?
Yeah.
And this was a while back. This was several months ago that I decided to do this. And I got through the first season of Clone Wars, and then I was like, I need to just watch a recap.
Yeah.
And so I did that. Then I went through episodes 4. I finished episode 3. And so now Anakin is Darth Vader. And then I was like, okay, I could just jump to 4. But then I was like, no, I gotta watch Solo. I gotta watch. So I'm being, I'm trying to be good about it. But what I find, because this is
Ooh.
a franchise you like,
Oh yeah.
what I
Yeah.
find, and I don't know how this is gonna feel. The more I watch these films in the span
Hmm.
of my life, the more I understand Anakin the Darth Vadering. Because these Jedi, I'm sorry, they don't have it all together like they
No.
think they do.
No.
And it bugs me. Like it used to be that the worst thing that bugged me about the prequels was the acting, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
when you when you get to a point that you've seen it so many times that you start paying attention to the philosophy and the politics and the story, that you're
Yes.
like, how how what do you mean I can't be attached to people? Like, you're trying to help me be the good of the galaxy, and I'm supposed to like be compassionate and help, but then you're telling me not to get emotionally. No, no,
Mm-mm.
it pissed me off this time.
No, it did, and I think especially like we've talked about, or I think it came up, and then we decided that this needed to be talked about. The different like they're what's the word I'm looking for here? They have conflicting statements and actions.
Hmm.
What's the word for that? Like,
Hypocritical.
yeah, they're hypocritical. They're talking about how you have to be peaceful and how, you can't, but they're also like going around setting traps and invading planets and shit. So,
Yeah. Well, are they
mm,
invading or are they defending? I think the Jedi is supposed to be defending. But the problem, yeah, there's so many. Here's the thing. I used
supposed
to be
to
able
be.
to I used to be able to watch these movies from a broader scope view.
Hmm.
So when you watch it enough that when you start paying attention to the minutia,
Hmm.
dude, I'll tell you right now, Palpatine would have turned me in a fucking heartbeat. Like, it would have been simple
Oh,
because
yeah.
I'm all about emotion, right?
Yep.
And this notion that you're not supposed to, there was something that Yoda says in the third movie, and he tells Anakin, and I'm paraphrasing, but Anakin is sharing with him that he has these fears and concerns, and obviously he can't say that it's Padme because he's not supposed to be married. He's not supposed to have the relationship, right?
Yeah.
But he's expressing himself, and Yoda's only answer is, you're basically, he says, you're too connected. You have to avoid this because and he said, and I'm paraphrasing because I'm not a purist when it comes to dialogue in Star Wars, but literally his message was, love leads to jealousy, jealousy leads to anger, anger leads. I'm like, what? How is that the equation? you know
Yeah.
and it's
Speaking of
like,
word chain.
yeah, no kidding. And it was funny because, again, I'm not a fan of the second and third movie except for the lightsaber battles. At the last 30-40 minutes of what is it, Revenge of the Sith, I'm all
Mm.
in. Okay,
Oh, I know. You
I
have
am
it
all in.
memorialized on a fanny pack.
Exactly. But when I went through that early portion of dialogue between Yoda and Anakin, I was like, no wonder this guy turned. Like,
Yeah.
how do you tell someone that love equates to all these negative things? I'm overthinking this, I know.
No, I mean, no, it's
But it
I've seen
changes
it.
my
I've talked about it.
perspective on the rest of the story,
But I think that's the point. Like,
I
we
guess.
grow and we changed. We grew and we change, uh, you know, in what our when our beliefs are. And they're so very discriminatory.
Right.
Like, not just anybody can be a Jedi. Um, Obviously, like there's the whole midichlorians thing, but like even then, like, you have to grow these Jedis from little small humans, like, or little
Yeah, the
small
simple fact, well, you can't
peoples.
be trained because it's like, well,
No,
then what you're telling me is you're brainwashing
right,
the
right.
children, the younglings.
Not even, yeah, brainwash, indoctrinating,
Okay,
maybe.
I like that word better. Yeah,
But yeah, like, okay, wait a minute. So why then? It's so discriminatory and it's so frustrating because it's like you could have such an amazing and diverse, I don't know, team, uh, religion. You could have so much more diversity, and you could have so much more scope and perspective
yeah,
if you just help, like gave somebody a chance, gave people a chance. Like, even from the beginning when they brought like a little bitty baby Anakin, they were like, nah.
right. It's too late. And
Until,
like,
yeah,
he's
until he
5
was
or
like,
whatever he was.
yeah.
I don't know how old he
Mm,
was in the first movie. I forget. Maybe Cullen knows.
how
So
old was the Anakin in the first movie, in the one Phantom Menace? 5? 5 or
20,
6, yeah.
23. Yeah. Yeah, when I can get past so much of the cringy elements in the second and third movie because I'm bothered now by, again, the dynamic of the Jedi way, that tells you either I've seen these movies too many times or someone's waking up to some shit. So you
So
know,
you're getting woke.
yeah. And then and so here's the other thing. Okay, so the big lightsaber battle at the end of episode 3.
Uh-huh.
uh, Anakin is left in in on the lava river shore. Uh, Frickin' Kenobi does
Yep.
nothing to try to help him. Okay,
That
all he does is bitch at him some more, which is all he's done for 2 movies. As he ignites, I'm like, okay, I understand you. Okay, yes, okay, the Sith need to be not a thing. Okay, fine, but there's just something missing there. And then so then my brain's like, oh, that means that the one showing compassion is Palpatine when he
Mm.
comes and he rescues him.
Right? Yeah.
Now again, to be
Obviously, we
fair,
know.
I have read the Darth Vader comics and I understand the lore that is about, hey, this gave him more control over Vader and keeping him in this
Yes.
pained state, right? If y'all have
Yes.
not read the Dark Horse comics of Darth Vader, you need to. If you're a fan, they're wonderful. They're fantastic to fill in the gaps of the lore. And I'm just like, whoa, I'm changing my feelings about these characters way too much.
You lost words for a second
I
there, did
lost
you?
all faith in what these stories were meant to be, because then if you flash forward to what is episode 6,
Yep.
Return of the Jedi, and you go, okay, wait, I'm supposed to buy that Darth Vader is the chosen one the entire time. Well, now you've undercut Luke Skywalker's story. I've gone too far down the rabbit hole. Like,
Yeah.
Star
Yeah.
Wars
Well,
bugs me now.
no, but it makes sense, and I understand where you are and where you're coming from. I can say, like, I was never really a big fan of Luke and his kind of story, I
Mm-hmm.
guess. Um, and it was like, to me, okay, that's what it was. So, depending on how you look at it, like, I used to think that 4, 5, and 6 were about telling
Luke,
Luke Skywalker's story.
right?
And as like you said, as I've watched it again, gotten older, whatever you want to say, he's a background character. Like,
Absolutely.
he's not even anywhere close to the front
Yeah,
of what the story's supposed to be. Um, he has a end part, but it's
yeah,
not like the most important part.
and I'm okay with that. As clumsily as the first 3 the prequels were done,
Mm,
I'm okay with the larger story being about Darth Vader. I like that it adds a ton of richness to the overall story. But
yes.
then you have to do something with Luke Skywalker. And now in hindsight, I begin to understand why the last 3 movies and their treatment of Luke Skywalker didn't resonate with a lot of people. And so, you know, that I won't go down that rabbit hole because I'm not ready for that. But I was just amazed at how in these last few days, my entire viewpoint of the Star Wars franchise and its lessons and stories has changed so dramatically because so that I could avoid all of the cringiness. I tried to pay more attention to like, okay, what is Mace Windu is an asshole. Okay, I'm just saying it right now.
Totally.
I'm
Totally.
like, damn.
Complete and utter
But I
asshole.
never paid close enough attention to the I was broad stroke. I didn't really pay attention to the details of what he said and how, like, he gave Anakin absolutely no chance whatsoever to come into his. It's the trainer in me. You've not given him a chance to learn by doing because you don't trust him. And that's the whole essence of the thing that Palpatine tells him in the theater when he says, the Jedi don't trust you. They don't, or no, I think he was in his office later. He's like, they don't understand the power that you have. And they think that and I'm like, dude, Palpatine don't lie. Like, there's no lie in what he's saying. That's the kind of character that should operate by deception. Mm-hmm. Now, it could be said, okay, well, if you look at it deeper, then he's really good at tugging at the emotions and using the truth to create, you know, an even deeper negative narrative, right? But
because you can find a pattern in anything.
Why do I come out of this time watching it with a greater appreciation for Palpatine?
Yeah. So remember when we built lightsabers at Disney?
Yeah.
Do you remember what color my lightsaber was?
Originally? Oh gosh, I don't remember.
It was purple.
Blue. Was it purple? Okay.
It was purple.
Oh, did you change?
Because I literally was thinking about it. I was like, isn't Mace Windu is purple? I don't think I'm gonna be associated with that guy.
Oh, I thought you knew that.
I would rather. No, it didn't register in my head until we were like finishing up, and I was like, oh shit, oh, I chose poorly. And that's when I had the guy change out myself. I was like, I would rather be associated. My lightsaber is red. I was like, I'd rather be associated with the Sith. And I think everybody in that room was like,
oh yeah, you were out.
It was hilarious. It was so hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, I've probably invested way too much brain power on this whole story. And you know, it's really, I love how much the way in which Disney can now like fill in gaps. All of this was because I'm really actually excited about the Ahsoka series. I really, I knew enough about her character from the Clone Wars that I was like, oh, okay, this will be kind of cool to explore. Yeah. And it's just one of those things where the deeper down the rabbit hole you go now, especially if you research like things like the novels that have been retconned in, either out or into the lore, right? Yeah. Because, dude, listen, this is how bad it's gotten. Okay, this is confession time. I woke up 2 nights ago at like 4:30 in the morning, and I was like, how did Vader know that Luke was his son? Like, nowhere in the films or in the animated series prior to episode 5 does anyone tell Vader that Luke is his son, like that we see. Okay, I learned later because at about 4:40 I was like, fuck, I need to look. I couldn't go back to sleep. Okay, this is how bad it got. I was like, wait a minute, how does he know to tell Luke? And then Luke just is like, yeah, he doesn't like the idea, right? But then by the next movie, he's like, I've got to save him. And I'm like, okay, you made that leap real quick, right? Yeah. And I'm not going to be such a, that I'm never going to like the movies again. But it was like that point got to me. So I did the research. Boba Fett is who told Vader Luke Skywalker's name as the one who destroyed the Death Star. But unless you read a particular book or comic, I forget what it was, you would never have known that, But the
Yeah.
fact that I needed that gap filled because of how much lore is out there now, that it was like literally, I woke up and going, "How did Vader know?" It was
Well,
ridiculous.
I mean, and I know that in, I think it's Revenge of the Sith, whenever Padme is delivering them, she names them.
Mm.
So I don't know if, because I think Anakin was gone at that point. I
Oh
can't.
yeah.
It's been so long.
Oh no,
But
this
it's
is
like
after he's been destroyed by Kenobi.
it's like how else? I never really thought about that. Like, how else does that information get passed?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Hmm.
there's some problematic stuff there.
Yeah.
When you start researching the details, you're like, wait a minute, how did this happen? So yeah,
Well, even
yeah.
better. I'll do even better then. I can't recall. Does Vader ever address Leia as his daughter?
No, because he doesn't. And here's the. So he only discovers that there's a sister in the final battle in Revenge of the or Return of the Jedi.
Mhm.
Because remember, he force reads Luke's mind and realizes, oh, and he says, if I can't turn you, then maybe I'll turn her, and that's where Luke goes into like Super Saiyan mode and finishes things. I know that reference. And so no, he doesn't ever know, like until after he's a Force ghost, I imagine, right? When he's finally redeemed,
He's like,
right?
God damn it! I had her in my possession.
Right.
No,
So
custody. Sorry, not possession. Custody. I had her in custody.
custody, yeah. So again, because I'm overthinking, you couldn't force sense that there was something beyond she's a princess. But why? Because when that movie was written, that wasn't a thing yet.
That wasn't a thing.
It was episode 4, which is 1. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Okay, George Lucas, I'll buy it because I
For
can't
now.
change it.
For now.
Dude, I have bought every single version of the original 3 movies that ever came out, all the way back to the VHS Deluxe, the DVDs. Oh my God, I can't believe I spent so much money on this.
We
And now Disney
had
Plus happens. Or
yeah.
happened. Yeah.
It's
I can't believe
available.
it's been around as long as it's been. So
Yeah.
time flies. So yeah, there you go. I've been dealing with some Star Wars stuff.
He's like, and now
All I wanted to do was revisit the franchise, and now I'm like, wait a minute.
everything's changed.
I thought there was a point where I was like, I should write this stuff down. I'm like, no, I will fill pages with the shit I was thinking. So I'll do the Avengers next. So no.
You're like, it's too early to ruin those for myself.
Yeah. So there you go. That's how my brain works. Episode 1, season 2. Here's where we are. So
hey,
man.
just we're coming back. It's great.
Indeed.
Talk about whatever.
Indeed. So yeah, I will say this. Next week, I think we should go back to our originally planned episode from a few weeks ago for social norms, if you'd like.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about what in the world makes people design social norms as they are today. Why the heck do I have to follow rules? So, but yeah,
because
that'll be next
when
week.
your story gets told, you don't want loopholes.
This is true.
No, plot holes. Sorry. Wow, words.
Plot holes, loopholes, they're all the same.
Right.
So yeah, because the loopholes is what got them through to this point where it's like they don't feel like they have to fill the plot holes.
Yeah.
Yeah, this franchise is full of them. So
yeah.
And I did notice till I was 53 and going through them for the last time. So yeah.
The last time.
Wow. I can't do it again after this. I can't do it. I think I have one more run through the Avengers, or like through the Marvel films. I have one more run through the Daniel Craig, James Bond films. I have probably one more run left in me of Firefly.
No, you have to do that one more than just one.
The only thing I do annually now is the 3 Godfather films. I do that once a year. So, but yeah. Have you seen them?
No.
Well, that's next. So,
actually,
it's only 9 hours of material. So don't worry.
Oh wow, no, no. We were taught we in that same surgery with that same doctor that said you shouldn't say all these things. He was putting a medication. It's a powdered medication that helps stop bleeding, and he said something about, it looked like a particular illegal substance, and then referenced the movie Scarface.
Oh,
and
nice.
I was explaining to my coworker who had never seen it, and I was like, it's Al Pacino, and like I was going through it, and she's like,
yeah.
I was like, oh God, okay.
And you were like, it was cocaine.
So, yeah. And he was like, that's your homework, and I was like, it wasn't me, it was her.
But have you seen it?
I have.
Good for
Somehow,
you.
interestingly enough,
that's shocking. That's shocking.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, as we prepare to get out of here, we do have a TikTok of the week. But before we do that, I want to encourage folks to, if you're watching us on YouTube, thank you so much for being here. If you're on Facebook Live with us, we appreciate you. On YouTube, don't forget to click the subscribe button and the notification bell, and give this episode a like to let us know that you enjoyed it. And we will continue to make content for you here on A Few Minutes With. Also, I'm going to throw in a shameless plug for my food show, A Taste of the Food Life, where we have new episodes coming out very, very soon. Yes, and things like that. Before we go to the TikTok of the week, I also want to throw a special shout out because, Susan, you know that on my Twitch channel, I have recently been committed to doing the Extreme Death Nut Challenge.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna die. But I want to give a special shout out to a friend I made recently on the interwebs. Scottish Spice King is his name. And he reached out to me after he saw my post on Twitter and about having to do the challenge. He's recently started a YouTube page where his Scottish Spice King moniker is well earned, because what he does is he tries extreme spicy challenges, and he did the Death Nut Challenge, and I watched the video. Nice. And wow, I'm frightened. But he handled it like a champ. Man, this guy, we're good, you and I, with heat. This guy we can learn from. He also recently did a video yesterday with a spicy noodle challenge, and he's going to continue to build his channel with these types of videos. And so I really wanted to give him a shout out. Look up Scottish Spice King on YouTube. I'm going to continue to stay in touch with him and hope that hopefully at some point we can get him on to talk to him about how he does it, because when you check it out, you'll see it's.
Yeah, I'm going to have to check it out because
he's a champ. I mean, I'm like, I can learn from this man. So I wanted to say a big thank you to him for reaching out to me and for sharing his experiences. And we will put the link below to his show in our information on the episode. And so make sure you check it out. Where can folks find you, Suzer Bruiser, outside of Threads? Did you see that at the bottom?
Threads at the bottom, and also at Twitter X whatever at that same moniker. I am also on Instagram. I'm at TeBeanDips. I
thought you had a Suzer Bruiser.
I might have changed it. Honestly, I don't recall. But anyway,
okay.
I'm never on there anyway. So, yeah. So I mean, honestly, Twitter X whatever is the best place.
Yeah, I think that's where we're most active.
At Suzer Bruiser, right there.
Yeah, on Twitter X whatever, you can find me at Serge Sexy Potato. Threads is Sergio the Sexy Potato. I'm really trying to build up my activity on Threads, but that's proven a little bit difficult. So yeah, check us out. And thank you so much for being here tonight. Before we get out of here, though, here is this week's TikTok of the week. Good Boy Noah is the name of the content creator, and I just discovered them yesterday. And oh my goodness, let's just take a look.
Ayo, cheetah,
what's up?
I really wanna make some yummy steak fajitas, but I need you to teach me how to do it.
Yeah, I'll be happy to explain it. First, you gotta get your skirt steak marinated with some soy sauce, Worcestershire, and cumin, brown sugar, chili powder, and the juices from a pineapple and lime, a little dried oregano, some salt, pepper, garlic, and thyme, and then you gotta let it sit in the fridge for a couple of hours so the flavor sink in.
Okay, it's marinated. What do we do next?
Saute your onion and bell peppers in a pan. Add some lime and a little cayenne. And go and cook your steak up in a skillet on each side for a couple of minutes. Let it rest up and then you go. Heat your tortillas over the stove.
Cheetah, can I slice the steak up?
Yeah, bro, now it's time to plate up. Serve it up with guac and sour cream.
It's the fajita of my dreams.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Rabbit hole. You need to go
yeah.
down. Yeah, Good Boy Noah is the content creator. It is a fantastic set of videos. I sent you one yesterday.
The wings, yeah. Oh my god.
yeah.
Like I was literally like, what the? And then like,
Yeah.
and I remember turning to Cullen. I was like, I want wings now.
Yeah, it's so great. It's so great. The rapping cheetah is the best. And
love
yeah, I was literally at one point I was like, I need to get to bed. Like I'd gone down the rabbit hole. So
That happens.
it's too funny. So yeah, there you go. You're always going to find out funny creators that we discover in our journey. In fact, it was funny because I scrolled back as far as I could to see where he started, like what his content was. I'm always curious.
Yeah.
Because you know how it is with TikTok. It's like once you find the thing, that becomes, and so I always find it interesting to go as far back as possible to say, okay, where did they start? Like, what was he doing? And he was actually doing videos where he was R&Bing like major hits, right? Like he would take a song that wasn't originally an R&B tune, and he would change it up to an R&B style. And so, fantastic stuff. But boy, once he started with the cheetah, that was it. It was like it all became food content. And stuff like with the cheetah singing along, so it's fantastic. So I could have gotten more sleep yesterday, but so yeah. All right, well, Susan, as always, I'm glad that we have this opportunity to hang out together and do the show. So thank you so much for being awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for being awesome, and thanks for taking a break with me. And like that way we can plan together. And now we're back together.
We are back. Episode 2 will be next week, so make sure you stop by. We'll talk about social norms and whatever else is on our mind on A Few Minutes With. But until then, don't forget, you are awesome. You're amazing. And the world's a better place because you are in it. We will see you next week on A Few Minutes With. Good night, everybody.